Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are in the world. You're listening to the Wrestling Fans Insight live on Twitter Space. Here we are recording episode number 37. Along with me are my co-host Heather and Carlos. Heather, how are you?
I'm doing good.
You feeling...
Trying to do good.
Yeah, I was going to say, you feeling somewhat better at least?
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit better. I'm just a little tired, but I'm doing okay. The pain ain't as bad, and the energy is still low, but because that's why I'm tired. So, but pain isn't bad today.
Yeah. And Carlos, how's it going, bro?
Good, feeling oozy. Feeling really oozy today, thanks.
Oozy, not Scripsy?
Not Scripsy, no. Scripsy wasn't on TV today, so I was right out of mind, They messed up that one.
Oh, so whatever's on TV and they say, you're just going to go by.
Yeah, because that's what their thinks us fans are. We're just mindless drones, So you got to act like that. Oh yeah, got to make them think they're right about everything. Oh wow, that was so great.
Oh lordy. Well, and if any of you have been listening for a long while, you noticed the one person I didn't introduce at first. Sending our well wishes to my brother William. He's not going to be with us this week, and maybe sounding like possibly another week or two. He's kind of going through some health issues, like he mentioned on last week's episode. This week he's encountered a swollen throat, which is really kind of making it hard for him to even talk right now. So, William, if you're listening, we hope you get better. We hope to have
Absolutely.
you back soon. So, other than that, I think we're going to try to change it up a little bit this week because, long podcasts sometimes are hard for people to listen to. They don't always make it to the end. So, this week I thought we would change it up a little bit and maybe start off with our shout-outs to our favorite accounts out there. Heather, would you like to start off with some shout-outs?
Yes, I can. I want to go with NWO Machine. Is that NWO Machine? That's his shout-out? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, and Vader from Wish, OBJS 25. I'm wishing her well because she's not feeling good either. Tap Out Talk with Brian Atkins or Brian Ballard, whichever. Ted Hill, the Hillbilly Hill, Wrestling with the Truth podcast. Jack Cassidy. That's all I can come up with right now.
All right. Carlos?
So I'll give a shout out to Raph Infamous Rated R, Sarah Execution 84, Patrick Patty Magic 96, Fester Fink at Scourge Vigo, J Henry 79, JB Styles at Speedball JB, Deshaun at Deshaun 2001, and a really fun account that always been to laugh. Kenny, for your thoughts at the IWC Coach Kenny.
Awesome. I'd like to give a couple of shout-outs. And I apologize if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, because I'm not sure if it's Nisi or Nikki Bees, but her Twitter handle is at My Radio Clash. Also want to give a shout-out to Gilmary Gomez. And a newer shout-out this week. I keep forgetting to add him to my shout-outs. He goes by at Stukio, STUCKIO _513. He listens to our content as well. I'd like to say thank you for always tuning in. Also want to give some shout-out to some different podcasts I listened to this week. A couple of normal ones I do listen to. Wrestling with the Truth, BC Hunter and the Nightmare J. Myers, Austin Boyer with the Wrestling World, Fan in the Van. He does a really great job with his podcast. He usually does about 2 episodes a week, Mondays and Wednesdays. And one of his counterparts, the 1420 Sports Bar podcast, I actually started listening to them this week, and They actually have a pretty good one as well. And also want to give a couple of my norms out there the Chime In podcast. And today we laughed and learned. Now that our shout outs are out of the way, why don't we get right into it? We'll start with the WWE programming. We're on the weekly programming of November 27th through the December 2nd. We're going to start off with the Monday Night Raw results. In the opening match, Judgment Day defeats the OC. The Street Profits return and get victory over Alpha Academy. Dexter Lumis gets the win over The Miz, who now has a contract with WWE and got The Miz's money. Candice LeRae gets the victory over Dakota Kai. And in the main event, Kevin Owens defeats Jey Uso. For the NXT results, we had Roxanne Perez defeat Indy Hartwell. I guess you pronounce it Dijak. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, changes his damn name so many times. Dijak defeats Dante Chen, which I wasn't even sure if he still worked for the company. Grayson Waller defeats Duke Hudson. Kiana James over Fallon Henley. Axiom in an unexpected match over Javier Bernal. Julius Creed gets a disqualification victory over JD McDonough. Von Wagner over Malik Blade. And Toxic Attraction defeats that team of Nikita Lyons and Caden Carter and Katana Chance. And as we go into the SmackDown results, now the Sammy Uso, I guess we don't call him Sami Zayn anymore, defeats Sheamus. Shayna Baszler defeats Emma. Gunther gets a victory over Kofi Kingston. And in the World Cup final, getting a future shot at the WWE Intercontinental Championship, Ricochet gets a victory over Santos Escobar. Ooh, that was a mouthful already. So, as always, we're going to go ahead and go ladies first. Heather, how did you see this week's WWE programming?
It was, I'm not going to say it was excellent or anything like that, but it was okay. I liked that we finally got the 4-on-4 with the OC and the Judgment Day. I liked that. And I didn't get to see the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy because Hulu sucks. But I liked the Dexter Lumis match with The Miz and Jey Uso and KO. That was a pretty good match. And then on NXT, the Roxanne Perez and Indy Hartwell, that match was good. They both did an excellent job. I thought it was a really good match. And let's see. I like the ending match with Toxic Attraction versus and Nikita Lyons and the versus Kaden Carter. Oh no, it's Toxic Attraction with I don't know what that. My brain's not working. Oh, it's just Toxic Attraction. I'm sorry, y'all help me out here. It was Toxic Attraction and the women's tag team champion.
Yeah.
They versus. And who did they fight against?
It was Katana Chance, Caden Carter, and Nikita Lyons.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I'll enjoy that match too. Sorry, my brain's not working. No, I'm sorry. And let's see, SmackDown. Let's see, Sami Zayn versus Sheamus. I like that match, and let's see, Kofi Kingston versus Gunther. That was a pretty good match. And so was Santos Escobar versus Ricochet. That was good too. So there you go.
All right.
I'm sorry, my brain is not working. I'm sorry. Y'all forgive me.
Welcome to my everyday life, Heather. No, you did good. Carlos, your turn.
So for me, for Raw this week, when I was watching Raw, I immediately thought, someone from WWE listening to our podcast? Because I feel like so many things that we talked about got addressed on the show. First of all, having Becky back makes such a big difference to me. And having Street Profits too, I thought this was like the best Raw they've done in a long time, because I like how they kind of mixed in the established talent, people with like good theme songs, and then they put in between, they put the matches of like people who are trying to establish. So I really thought Raw had a really good flow to it. Having Becky back makes a huge addition. The one thing I didn't like was Becky beating up Damage Control by herself again. Excuse me, I don't really see the point of a feud where Becky's beating up all three women by herself. I just kind of wish they would just kind of let Bailey go do the tag team thing for a while, but I'm looking forward to their feud though. Again, like Heather said, I'm glad we finally got the 4-on-4 match between the OC and the Judgment Day that we should have got at Survivor Series. And again, I love how the Street Profits and Becky went into the crowd that week. It was just something different, something new. And again, I got the energy level up for the crowd. It made a huge difference. I would like to see the Los Lotharios move to Raw if they're not going to use them on SmackDown, because I'm tired of always seeing the Alpha Academy have to take on all these face teams. I love how they utilized the Bloodline tonight, and I love again how Riddle and Elias called them out after the big win the week before. I like how they're getting their tag team shot again, something for the teams to be fighting for, and just how they sprinkle them out throughout the show. And then I was thinking for a feud, I'd eventually like to see the Street Profits join Edge and Beth and have them feud with Judgment Day and move off from the OC. And I love the Dexter Lumis handing out $100 bills to the crowd. And then I love how Miz went back and took a bill away, and then how Johnny came out and put the bill back to the kid. Again, that's to me, that's sports entertainment. And that was really fun. You know, it was really fun. It was really fun stuff sprinkled in with the actual good wrestling. And again, the main event was awesome. Jay and Owens, they teared it down. For NXT, I thought it was interesting they let Dijak use the go to sleep, because that's CM Punk's move, and I know that when Kenta was there, they wouldn't let him use it. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. That kind of opened my eyeballs. I made a comment about Indy being moved to the main roster, and I liked it because Will came out, our other co-host, and pointed out to me that how she's really kind of been slacking lately. And I was wanting her to earn it on her past merit, but after hearing what Will had to say, I would just like to see Indy step it up and earn that main roster, spot. It reminded me of the thing with the guy that's in Imperium now. You know, he got stuck with the with another gimmick and made it work, and then he got moved up to the main roster right away. So I'd love to see Indy, just be more smooth with her in ring, and then get moved up to the main roster. To see her tag with Candice. A great showing by Waller. I'm a fan of Big Body Javi. Again, I like that they're letting the big guy kind of be portrayed as a sex symbol. I like that. I love the match between JD McDonough and Julius Creed. What a match. I love Julius's offense in the match. Again, I see him as a future main eventer for WrestleMania. I wish the men's Iron Survivor Challenge match was all people who Braun hadn't beat before. I don't like that there's two guys in there that he already beat. And then I was thinking maybe they could bring up Grayson Waller and Bob Wagner to be in a stable with Theory, just something different to do. For SmackDown, a great action. Sammy and Sheamus, I love seeing the 6-man. I would love to see 6-man tag titles added to WWE, and then they just keep the one tag team championship. I like the Emma called Madcap Moss Riddick, so I'm keeping an eye on that. 3 women to stand up to Shayna Baszler was kind of like a WTF moment. I thought Lacey Evans' repackage. I think they should bring in Sergeant Slaughter to be her manager. Why not? Introduce our friend Sarge and have him be her manager. And then for the women too, I wouldn't mind seeing a Nexus version of the women come in and feud as with the established stars of SmackDown. I think that'd be a good way to kind of introduce all these women into a storyline. Again, the segment with Damage Control, it just left me wanting Becky, so that was kind of weird for me. And I thought Santos and Ricochet absolutely killed it. To me, that was the match of the year for me so far. The one thing is I don't see the point of Ricochet winning after he's already lost to Gunther twice, kind of, easily, handily. I would have liked to see Santos get the win, but that's all I got for that.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad the Judgment Day and the OC finally had their 4-on-4, like both of you said. It almost kind of sounds like maybe they are actually listening to our small podcast, but maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. I could be full of shit too. Cause
I'll take the win for us, and just see how they spread out the established stars, and had it going where you had like the stars that get the crowd going, and then you had it kind of in between that the matches of the people who you're trying to build up. I thought it was really well booked and a really good flowing show.
Well, yeah. I mean, I kind of think maybe we're almost getting to the point maybe we need to change up the opponents for both groups, but I don't know. Like I said, when AJ and Finn had their match there at Survivor Series, I don't think it's necessarily going to be the end of the between these two. As far as the Street Profits coming back to defeat the Alpha Academy, great match. I'm just a little worried now with kind of the momentum, what they're doing with Alpha Academy. I almost kind of wonder in a way if they're. I mean, I know they just had a victory not too long ago against Elias and Riddle in singles. However, I almost kind of wonder if it's run its course and maybe they need to start breaking away and going singles. It'll definitely be interesting to see where they're going to go with those two talent. I was a little happy with the Dexter Lumis and the Miz finally having that match, and hopefully it's kind of coming to the end of that storyline. I think it's ran its course now, and with Dexter Lumis getting the win, the WWE contract, and like you said, it was an awesome moment watching him pass out those $100 bills.
Oh, it made those kids' days, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, Whether the money was fake or real, I couldn't tell from watching it.
It was real. It was real.
Oh, was it real? Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, if it was real, awesome. You guys scored, so.
Yeah.
And I believe. Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember if it was this week or last week PT Money went to the show. Another shout out to one of our listeners and good friends, PT Money. Gosh, I want to say it was this weekend he went there. I'm not sure. Now I'm really frustrated because I wasn't paying attention. I love the main event with Kevin Owens going against Jey Uso because it's keeping Kevin Owens' momentum going against the Bloodline. Seeming like it's going to be a good run and maybe having one more chance at Roman Reigns' championships. However, like I said, I still think we're going to end up seeing at the end Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn reunite and take those tag team championships off the Usos. As far as NXT goes, I love the match between Roxanne Perez and Indy Hartwell. My only disappointment is with Indy Hartwell taking that loss. She's been on a momentum of a good winning streak there, but I don't know. I almost in some ways feel that maybe actually hold her back a little bit. But who knows? Maybe they're going to actually finally move her to the main roster, have her reunite with Dexter Lumis, and we can have Index again. Dijak, I appreciate the fact that they finally kind of went back and used kind of part of his original name. I'm not so sure on the GTS though. Especially with the touchiness of the certain person that you've mentioned earlier, CM Punk, but who knows? I would like to see him have a little more aggression and a little more of a kind of more impactful finish. I'm not saying the go to sleep isn't an impactful finish, but I would like to see him use something that you would expect a monstrous heel to finish a match with. Grayson Waller getting the victory over Duke Hudson. I kind of view Grayson Waller as like the MJF of NXT right now, and that's a good thing. He plays I guess you can say the hated heel really well, and I think he's got a big future coming. I almost just want to say go ahead and move him to main roster because the way he's been going, I don't know. There's just something about him that I like. I don't. Maybe he's not quite ready for main roster yet, but I feel he is.
That's what I said about pairing him and Von Wagner with Austin Theory, having a little stable, because I think Austin Theory needs some backup, That was just that's what I was talking about. I totally think he's main roster ready.
Well, I don't know. Do you really think that would be the wise thing for Austin Theory to have a faction, though? I mean, I think with this...
I think he's looking... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I think ever since he lost that Money in the Bank and he's showing a more serious side, I don't know if he really needs a faction.
I can see that point. My point of view is I think he's going to have a lot of faces coming after him, so having some people to have his back, I think, would be a good thing, you know?
Well, and the way WWE's been kind of going toward the faction trend, like AEW and New Japan have.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe that is the way to go. I don't know.
I just thought it was because I don't think Von Wagner has any more thing to do in NXT either, so I was kind of thinking it's a way to bring them both up, you know, and kind of have them go out, you know, kind of start off on the main roster some way.
Yeah.
Just food for thought.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not going to have Von Wagner win that Iron Survivor Challenge, I mean, really, just move him up to main roster now.
Exactly.
Let
him sink or swim. You know, if he doesn't make it, he doesn't make it. But just it's time to go. It's time to cut the cord and just let him see what he can do.
Yeah, there's just no sense to keeping him in developmental if he's just ready to go. Just let him loose. Get him and Robert Stone up there. And yes, I'd say get Robert Stone up there because I think we could use some more managers for the heels on the main roster too. They're doing it right with NXT right now. Let's kind of continue that trend as well. Where did I leave off? The Kiana James Fallon Henley. I don't know. I'm not into that storyline anymore. I just kind of feel it's not really going to go anywhere. It was nice to see Kiana James get the victory and continue her winning ways. However, I feel where she's still a young talent, maybe they're kind of, I don't know, I think they're putting her over just a little too much. As far as Axiom going against Javier Bernal, that was a pretty enjoyable match. I was actually a little surprised to see Axiom back, especially after being taken out by J.D. McDonough with his leg being twisted bent the way it should never bend ever. I don't know if maybe Axiom was double jointed, but didn't J.D. McDonough do that same thing to Julius in his match?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so I tell you, some of the way those guys bend, I don't know how the hell they do it. It just kind of scary on some points. Von Wagner, Malik Blade, I think that was just pretty well expected. A small guy like Malik Blade is not going to be able to really go hand or toe to toe with a guy the size of Von Wagner. Toxic Attraction getting the victory over the Carter, Chance, and Lions. I like the fact that Zoe Stark is still continuing her attack on Nikita Lyons. But it's going to be interesting because we just saw Zoe. Well, wait a minute. Did Zoe Stark ever appear on? Was it SmackDown or Raw?
She did the main event show, I think. Main event.
Okay, yeah. It just... I don't know. I almost think Zoe Stark is just ready to move on to the main roster right now as it is. Unless the option is for her to win the Iron Survivor Challenge, but I don't see that happening.
She already lost to Mandy, and she's a heel too, so I don't see that happening. I'm with you. It's time to move some of these girls up. If they're not going to do anything with them, let's move them up to the main roster.
Yeah, I mean, if you got your established stars and you're not going to have any more, it's time to move them up, get some new feuds going, and where the women's main roster now is starting to catch fire again. Ever since they brought back Damage Control. Becky Lynch is now back in the mix. Tegan Nox returning on SmackDown. You know, I think we're about to get some really awesome women's matches going here. And yeah, like you mentioned, Carlos, I would be all for NXT women's faction going up against the main roster. That would be that would actually be pretty interesting to see what would come of that.
Yeah, just something different to do, you know, like a nexus, and then you can mix the heels and faces together. It's a way to get them all introduced and kind of build them up, you know, because they can do the gang warfare. I think it'd be a fun idea.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the Iron Survivor Challenge before I actually go into my SmackDown thoughts. I thought it was a little weird that they had four Hall of Fame, well, five if you include Shawn Michaels, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know if that little segment they had really did it any justice. Felt like it took longer than really making the clear point. But for the men, we're going to see Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, JD McDonough, and Joe Gacy. But on next week's NXT, we're going to have a three-way between Von Wagner, Andre Chase, and Axiom. The winner of that will get the final spot for the men. And for the women, it's going to be Cora Jade against Roxanne Perez, Zoe Stark, and Kiana James. And fighting for that fifth spot this week on NXT, we're going to have Indy Hartwell versus Wendy Chu versus Fallon Henley. My thoughts is I think Von Wagner ends up with the men, and Indy Hartwell will definitely end up for the women. You have any thoughts on that, Carlos?
Again, my thoughts are like what I said. What I said is I wish it was all. I wish in the match it was all people that haven't lost to Braun or Mandy yet. I wish it was all new competitors. That's my one thing. Like having people in that they've already beat doesn't really do it for me. And I wish Carmelo wouldn't have lost to Wesley recently. I wish they would have just let him move directly to that instead. Again, it was a good match, but for me, I wish Nathan Frazier was in there, and I wish Axiom was. I hope Axiom wins because I don't really think Von Wagner is going to get it. I think he just had his match with Braun. I'd rather see people who haven't lost to them yet. The same with Mandy Rose. If they're going to do it, I'd rather see Wendy Chu because I think she's already beat Indy Hartwell for the title before.
Yeah, and I think I'm kind of right there. I would actually like to see Carmelo Hayes get it. At least
for sure, absolutely.
At least definitely get one shot at the NXT Championship before they send him up. And out of the women, really, yeah. I mean, Jade's already lost to Rose. Perez has already lost to Rose.
Stark lost too.
Zoe's lost. The only one that hasn't lost to Mandy in a championship match so far is James Henley. Wendy Chu.
She got kind of thrown in there. Yeah, I was very less like she's gonna be in there. That kind of shocked me. Like really, her?
Yeah. I mean, there's all three women. All three women fighting for that fifth spot hasn't challenged for the championship yet, and neither's Kiana James. So, to me,
what's the girl from she's with the Creed brothers. She would have been good in that match.
Oh, Ivy Nile. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have put her in that, something different,
Yeah, that's the one that shocked me the most.
Didn't she win that day? She won that night too and didn't get put in there. Like you said, the logic doesn't make sense. Like she won a match, but you're not going to put her in the thing. Like you made that the logic of the whole, like you said, the call up everything it was BS.
Well, like I said earlier, I think they're pushing James a little too quick. To me, Ivy Nile should be in there long before Kiana James.
Absolutely.
No disrespect to Kiana James, because her character is starting to take off, but Ivy Nile is well established in the NXT roster and by the fans. So, I'm scratching my coconut on that one as we're now talking about that, and you mentioned it. I don't understand that.
I would have like Ivy Nile. If she's available. Tiffany Stratton, and I would have had, the one Nikita Lyons. That's what I would have had them in there. All new competitors,
Speaking of Tiffany Stratton, we haven't seen her the last few weeks. Is she out on injury? Or
that's what I was saying. If she's on an injury, I get it. If not, she should have totally been in that thing.
Yeah, because nothing was ever said if she was on injury or whatnot. I'll have to maybe look that up a little bit later tonight after I publish the podcast. So maybe get an update.
I like her a lot. She has a good look, and I like her attitude.
Yeah. And speaking of NXT, next Saturday, December 10th, be sure to tune in to the NXT's premium live event, Deadline. I just realized, oh shit, that is next Saturday.
and so's Ring of Honor's pay-per-view. Same day.
Is that the... Oh shit. I can't remember their theme.
Is it Death Before Dishonor? Or, so it's not that. I think it's something else. Someone just
No,
corrected me the other
final
day.
battle.
Final battle. Yeah.
God, I totally spaced that. I'm planning on watching that.
Yeah,
too.
they're both on Saturday. Yeah.
Oh,
Lots
are
of
they?
homework for us. Yeah.
Wow. I might have to do a double screen on Saturday. That's going to be interesting. Or I might have to just wait for Peacock to do a replay for Deadline. That's a bummer.
Well, I think the final battle starts earlier. So I think it starts like at maybe 1 o'clock your time, or I think it's like 3. It's like an afternoon show. I think.
Oh, maybe I'll check on that before we. Maybe I'll check on that when we go to a break here for a little bit.
All right.
Anyways, now that I went totally off the rails, we're going to go right into my SmackDown thoughts. Love the match with Sami Zayn getting the victory over Sheamus. That one, obviously, I think anybody, if they would have called that, if it wasn't for the bloodline, Sheamus definitely would have dominated Zayn. But having now the Usos totally trust in, have some good trust in Zayn, that makes sense. Shayna Baszler defeating Emma, but that's where we see an injured. We see Shotzi come down to the rescue post match, and then the injured Raquel Gonzalez. It took 3 to back down the Queen of Spades there. And conspicuous by her absence, no Ronda Rousey. I think if Ronda Rousey was there, it would be a different story, of course. But I don't know. I kind of feel like Shayna's hanging on the back burner. But I also think maybe they're going to develop Shayna Baszler to eventually maybe take on Ronda Rousey at some point. I don't know. That would be an interesting match to watch and see Shayna Baszler finally get the nod if that's the case. But I am with probably like most other wrestling fans. I think it's going to end up being a much bigger name taking that championship off Ronda, whether it be Charlotte Flair or someone else. Who knows? Gunther over Kofi Kingston, that was kind of weird and unexpected. It was more like an exhibition match in my feel. Kofi put on a good show against Gunther. I just didn't really see what the point of it was. And the World Cup final, I'm with you on that, Carlos. That was definitely a match of the year candidate between Ricochet and Santos Escobar. I think Santos is definitely going to be a talent, even though despite the late age he's at right now, I think he's still got one hell of a future going with WWE and the faction of Legado del Fantasma.
The thing for me, like when you see that match, is like when I watch that match, I see the criticism about AEW, like people saying slow it down, let it breathe. Like like when they did that spot on the guardrail, I was like, this is amazing, because it was like they just did enough. Like it wasn't like where AEW get one after the other. Like I when I watch that match, I get the criticism of AEW, because like it was just their psychology of it, the way they slowed it down to show off the moves. It was an amazing match. I just thought it was a great match and just good athleticism. I mean, that was amazing. It was amazing. That was awesome.
Yeah, but the other thing I hope wrestling fans understand, AEW is not going to be a copycat of WWE.
Oh, no.
I mean, as much as you see the storylines and characters, that shit happens with all the organizations. I'm sorry. But, you got to let each company be their own company. I mean, when AEW came into play and everyone started hating on it, and because it's not exactly what WWE is. Well, no shit, Sherlock. It's not WWE. It's AEW. I mean, I don't know what the hell you were expecting. It's an alternate. Every company,
For sure.
Every company has their own difference in how they do their programming and their style of pro wrestling. So, now that we kind of took a little bit long on that one, I'm sorry, folks. We're going to take a short break, and we will be right back. And we're back, and we're going to start talking about AEW for Dynamite. The opening match, Bryan Danielson gets a tap-out victory on Dax Harwood for the TNT Championship. Samoa Joe retains against the new All Elite signee AR Fox. Ricky Starks gets the victory over Ari Daivari. Willow Nightingale, which I kind of would say is probably my upset for the week, gets the victory over Anna JAS. And in the best of the 7 series for the Trios Championship, the Elite finally get a victory over Death Triangle, where Death Triangle leads the series 2-1. And for Rampage, the opening match, Darby Allin scores a victory over Cole Carter. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal tag team and get a victory over Private Party. Athena gets a victory over Danny Moe. And for the All Atlantic Championship, which was a lumberjack match, Orange Cassidy retains against QT Marshall. So definitely a very interesting week. And
yeah, I want to go camping with Lumberjack Trent, please.
Well, it was Danhausen in the flannel with the axe that kind of threw me off.
Oh, good Lord. All of them was like, hey, Trent, let's go camping.
I'm just like...
All of it was so funny. They're so funny. Oh, my gosh. Too much.
Yeah. Well, we started off with Heather on the last one. Why don't we start off with you, Carlos, and get your thoughts?
All right. So, again, I just to be clear, I love AEW. Like, I find it so entertaining. There's just so many. It's just so much. Just so many matches that they could do. There's just an endless array that they can give us for entertainment. I love the surprises of Hangman this week coming back to confront Jon Moxley, and I love like MJF turning on Regal. Again, we'll talk about it more, but again, I just love that they kept that off the dirt sheets. I didn't really see it online. I avoided it. I looking online until I got home from work. So it was just kind of neat to see, like, oh my gosh, I didn't see it coming. Like it was nice and refreshing to have that as a fan. Seeing 2 major things happen that you didn't see coming. And I like the fact that you got a face and a face feud. And I think that was just a really good thing. I thought the opening match with Bryan Danielson and Dax was awesome. Again, we knew we were going to get. I like how Dax kind of said he was going to walk away at the end, and he went back and gave him a handshake. I loved a good showing by AR Fox and Joe. I love the psychology of the match. I like Joe just moving out of the way before AR Fox hit the move, because it kind of just goes back to like some of the other criticisms, like why can't the guy just move out of the way? So I like the psychology of the whole match. I thought it was really good. The MJF promo, honestly, that was my least favorite promo that he's ever done. I just felt like it was too long and it was dragged out. I like this ending of it, him turning on Regal. But even like that, like it's just the whole way. If that's really Regal leaving AEW, like it doesn't really give Moxley his chance to get his comeuppance. It's just kind of an odd way, and it really makes you sad because I feel like Tony Khan didn't utilize Regal as he could have to help him with the booking and stuff like that. I just feel like it's a lost cause, but at the same time, if he wants to go back to WWE, like why hold him back? So there's kind of mixed emotions about that. A great show by Willow Nightingale. Again, I would like to see her be the one to eventually take. If it's not going to be Chris Statlander, let her be the one to dethrone Jade. I love her. I just love her positivity. I love her music. And again, it's one of those things where intro makes a big difference. It's good seeing Ruby Soho back. I love the Ethan Page and Hardy storyline being on Dynamite. And again, the main event was entertaining, but for me, it's just kind of like I was like, oh, here we go again. I would like maybe a steel cage match thrown in, and maybe like a Texas Tornado Rules match where they're all just kind of going at each other. Again, I like Alex Abrahantes handing him the hammer. He's supposed to be a good guy, now he's getting turning heel too. I didn't like that. And I like that we're probably getting Bryan Danielson and MJF feud, especially because I'm going to try to go to the next pay-per-view, so I would love to see that match in person. And the one thing I didn't like was the hook segment. It didn't really lead to anything, so I thought that was kind of a waste of time. For Rampage, I just want to see more. I mean, it was entertaining, but I would just like to see 2 matches where we don't know, we can't just guess the winner. I mean, that was the thing. Like, I just would like to see 2 matches a week where we don't, like more competitive matches where the winner isn't there. I mean, you already moved JR to Rampage to try to get people to watch it. There needs to just be more, not so predictable card to get more fans watching it on a Friday night, because I don't want to see it go away. I want to see it stick around. And I just, again, it's not that it's not going to be entertaining, but just let's take some predictability away. I love that we're getting FTR and Acclaim this Wednesday on Dynamite. Again, I like that. I like that they're letting the Acclaim be the guys like, hey, we're not hiding from you guys. We want to fight you. And maybe, yes, it's not the Bucks versus FTR 3 that we should have got, but I still like the FTR is getting their match. Again, I know there's going to be interference, but I still like the fact that we're going to get the match on next Wednesday. I love Athena as a heel. I love her energy. Again, I think she's going to be the new Ring of Honor Women's Champion come next Saturday, and I'm more than okay with that. Again, I just love her as a heel. I'm all in on that. And then I wish they would have just had. I just wish they were utilizing Dark Border to set up some of these matches for the final battle, because I feel like it's just kind of taken away. It feels too rushed. They could have been doing this stuff on Dark in Dark Elevation for weeks now, because it feels like it was kind of throw it all. But again, I'm glad to see Juice Robinson back in AEW, and that's all I got for right now.
All right, Heather, let's get your takes.
Okay, I liked when Hangman came out when Adam Page came out at the beginning for to go face to face with Moxley, and they try to beat the hell out of each other. I like that segment. And then Dax versus Bryan Danielson, that one was good, with Bryan winning. And let's see. And the whole thing with Regal and MJF, I did not see that one coming at all, for him turning on Regal. And let's see. I liked the one with the trios titles. It was a good match. I'm glad he didn't use the hammer. Anna Jay versus Willow Nightingale was a good match. I'm glad Willow got the win. I'm glad to see Ruby Soho back. That's really all I got for Dynamite. Rampage, I love Darby Allin. Darby Allin just doesn't care about what he does. He just don't give a crap. He just does anything. And let's see, Athena, her being a badass now, I like that. And let's see, then QT Marshall versus Orange Cassidy. I was glad that Orange Cassidy kept the belt. So that's all I got to say.
Well, I appreciate your impulse to control your language there for a little bit. So, I was actually expecting a couple F-bombs in there, and you did pretty good.
I was going to, but I was like, no, I need to stop that.
Oh, well, we love you, Heather. So, my thoughts on Dynamite. I loved the match between Bryan Danielson and Dax Hardwood. It was just pure classic pro wrestling right there. I'm with Heather. I love the Hangman Adam Page came back to confront Mox after, Hangman was obviously inadvertently injured by taking a weird fall from a clothesline from Mox. It's nice to see Hangman come back from that. I like the Wardlow kind of making the focus to try to regain the TNT championship from Samoa Joe. I just hope they don't do another triple threat style match on that, because this one would definitely be epic between these two big guys. Ricky Starks, Ari Daivari, didn't really see a purpose to the match other than, it was taunting for Ethan Page to come out and be distracting. As far as Willow Nightingale getting the victory over Anna JAS, that was just out of the blue. I appreciate the victory they gave it to Willow, but I'm not sure what the direction was, whether it was supposed to be just out of the blue and unexpected returning Ruby Soho. That's kind of where I felt. I just don't know where Willow Nightingale falls into the whole deal. So, yeah, but that I consider that my upset victory of the week for sure. And the best of seven series, it was nice to see that the Elite isn't going to get swept out. So, however, we still see Death Triangle up 2-1. But I think if it does go to match 7, we just need to do the one thing that'll piss off the IWC. Let's just have the bell hammer on a pole match for match number 7. For Rampage, Darby Allin, Cole Carter. I don't know. It seems like the last few weeks we've just been seeing Darby be the face of Rampage, and I'm not sure if that's the right move unless, they're going to eventually have Darby Allin become a champion again and be showcased there. I would like to see him more on the Dynamite program than Rampage for sure. But my thoughts also has been that I would like to see them change Rampage to more of a Ring of Honor showing and use that to get the other promotion up and going. At least a start on some kind of channel listing there for sure. The team of Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal over Private Party. I think we're kind of seeing a case where Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal want to be contenders for the AEW Tag Team Championships at some point, or even for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. We'll see where that goes. Athena over Danny Moe. I love the fact that they've turned Athena heel, just like Carlos has mentioned. Same with Heather. I'm not quite sure, though, if she's going to be ready to take that Ring of Honor Women's Championship from Mercedes Martinez, but we'll see.
How many times has Mercedes Martinez wrestled on TV the last 3 months?
Yeah, I mean it.
To me, it's gonna be her. They're showcasing Athena. She's taking that belt.
Yeah, well, that's why I said I think I would rather get Rampage away from the AEW label and turn Rampage for a Ring of Honor promotion. Well,
but I feel like she was a priority. Tell me we'd be putting her on TV. That's just how his booking works. So I really feel like Athena's taking that title on Saturday.
No, that could be. It could be time for the change of scenery. Who knows? Yeah. And for the All Atlantic Championship, I think we all expect it for a typical Orange Cassidy match. There's going to be some humor in that because, I know some people disagree with me, but when you look at a talent like Orange Cassidy, I'm sorry, First Image says you can't really expect this guy to be a serious competitor, even though he in some ways can be. I mean, he does have the in-ring skill set. It's just very different from many others, and that I think that's what definitely makes Orange Cassidy a very likable character amongst most wrestling fans. I do like the fact that we're going to eventually see FTR and the Acclaimed go for the AEW Tag Team Championships. I'm going to have to go back in my history and take a look at how many tag team sorry, I hit my microphone. Have to go back and look at my history on how many tag team championships a tag team has held simultaneously. I think if somehow, I don't think it will happen, but if somehow FTR ends up with the AEW Tag Team Championships, I think they are going to end up making history having 4 different promotions tag team championships at the same time. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I don't either, but I definitely don't think they're winning though. I think they're just. I think the Ass Boys are going to interfere to set up their match at Ring of Honor at Final Battle.
Yeah, I mean, I would hate to see them ruin the momentum that the Acclaimed have, especially how hot they've been with the fans recently. But FTR is just as hot too.
That's why I think it's cool. I think that's why it's cool actually getting the match. I think it's cool they're not going to hold off and they're actually like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
And who knows? Maybe we'll possibly see a triple threat match for the AEW Tag Team Championship at Final Battle. See the Acclaim versus FTR versus the Ass Boys. Hell, maybe even a 4-way if you include Jarrett and Lethal. Because all 4 of those teams were out there when the Acclaimed was mentioning they plan on facing the next best tag team. So,
well, I think it's going to go the way of the Acclaim versus Jarrett and Lethal for the AEW titles, and you'll have FTR versus the Ass Boys at the final battle. I don't see Tony Khan. I don't see him putting any kind of AEW titles on the line at final battle.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Just be all Ring of Honor.
You wouldn't think, but the thing is, we have had the Ring of Honor championships defended on AEW, so
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I really do think it's time for Tony to get these two promotions standing on their own, and
it's because he definitely views Ring of Honor as a lesser, because that's the thing that kind of upsets me. It's like he doesn't like all these guys that he has like Tony Deppen, who was a former Ring of Honor TV champion. He has all the real Ring of Honor guys jobbing on Dark and Elevation, but he's using just AEW guys for Ring of Honor. So it's definitely where he's trying to show like WWE did back in the day when they got WCW, that AEW is the superior brand. But that's why I'm just kind of ready to be like, okay, let's just see what you're going to do with this and separate them already,
Yeah, and I think right now it's just too early for that. I think we just, like I said, I just think we need to find a way to separate the brand identities, have them stand on their feet, and then maybe down the road we can have them feud with each other to show who's the superior brand.
Yeah. Do you see Claudio beating Jericho, or do you see him having to join the JS?
I don't.
I don't want to see them. I don't want to see the Blackpool Combat Club lose it in a person. I really don't. If they're so good, if we're rigging without Regal, don't take away Claudio too.
Well, and with rumors flying around with William Regal having that clause in his contract that he'd go back to WWE if Hunter took control. I don't know how true those rumors are.
There was just a new report today. I just read it this morning from Fightful saying that he's pretty much gone.
Yeah, and the way that promo was set up with MJF on Dynamite, William Regal did a damn good job taking that.
Oh yeah, amazing,
taking that blow, dude. And selling it with blood going on in the mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if William Regal is for sure gone from AEW, I see Claudio joining JAS.
No.
I hate to say it, but I really don't see how the Blackpool Combat Club stays together now with William Regal gone. It just wouldn't make sense. But
I don't want. I don't want. I hope they do. I still hope they stick around. I like him and Wheeler together. Honestly, I would like them as a tag team.
Well, I like him, Wheeler, Danielson, and Moxley all together.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
If they continued the group, cool. But I think they're going to need to find a different name than the Blackpool Combat Club, because the way the storyline ended with Mox and Regal, there's just no sense to keeping it. We got to figure some kind of different name for him. And that's going to wrap it up for our AEW thoughts. We're going to take another short break, and we'll come back to our top 10. Alright, it's top 10 time, guys. Heather, as always, we're going to start off with your number 10.
I put Kiana James.
Alright. Carlos?
Grayson Waller.
And I went with Toxic Attraction. So, alrighty. Heather, your number 9?
Roxanne Perez.
Cool. Carlos?
Are they all NXT people, Heather? That's the last thing you watched?
Yeah. Pretty much.
My number 9 was Athena.
Well, and I'm not picking on Heather because Will did that one week where he didn't have any female talent on his top 10.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
That damn discriminative bugger. So, right, with Carlos going with Athena on my number 9, I went with Willow Nightingale. Heather, your number 8.
Indy Hartwell.
I can just see the thoughts going through Carlos's mind right now.
Let's get some Rampage in there. Get some Rampage in there too. You want that today too? Come on.
No, yeah, I got some in there.
All right. My number 8 was Julius Creed.
Oh yeah, and you're sitting here picking on her for NXT. And
Well, those are my 2 NXTs for the week. I told you I did 2.
Okay, fair enough. My number 8, I went with Dexter Loomis. Number 7.
I put Axiom.
Oh, interesting. Carlos?
I wrote Orange Cassidy.
All right. And surprisingly enough, we're taking a page from last week. My number 7 was Orange Cassidy.
Nice.
All right. Heather, number 6.
I just gave you a thumbs up.
Sweet.
Number 6, I got Darby Allin.
Oh, wait a minute. That's not NXT.
No, I told you I was done.
Rampage.
Yeah, I'm done with NXT.
Oh, Heather's going to slap the shit out of us one day. You know?
As long as she gets both sides, you can't leave one jealous.
That's true. As long as we even it out, you know.
Yeah. My number 6 was Dexter Loomis.
Awesome. And my number 6 went to Athena. Number 5.
Ricochet.
I like that we both have the same women in our top 10. My number 5 went to Willow Nightingale.
Here we go again.
Yeah, and I did Dexter Loomis yet.
Well, actually, this wasn't as close as like last week.
No.
Yeah, that was funny, though. My number 5 went to Roxanne Perez.
Thanks.
Number 4?
I put Dax.
Oh, okay. Carlos?
Santos Escobar. See, I did a little accent there.
And mine actually came real close with Heather's. My number 4 went to Ricochet. So, all right, number 3.
Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, Carlos?
Kevin Owens.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. My number 4 went to Ricochet. Number
3.
Yeah, I realized I fucked up again. My number 3 went to the Elite. I don't know why I went to my number 4. That was weird. Maybe my COVID is just affecting my brain now. So, see, Heather, you're not the only one.
Let's play mad cow disease. Let's do something else here.
Wait a minute, did you just call me a cow?
No, mad cow disease.
Ooh. Oh, anyways. Number 2.
I put the Elite.
Oh, yeah. Now Heather's doing it to me. Starting to pull a Carlos on us. All
My
right.
number 2 was Brian Danielson.
All right. My number 2 went to Sami Zayn. All right, Heather. And now what everybody's waiting for. I'm kind of...
Kevin Owens.
Oh, man. I was waiting for the Usos or Theory or something.
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
One was
Kevin
Ricochet.
Owens.
You got plenty of time before I publish this. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Oh, that's going to be funny. All right, Carlos, you're number 1.
Was Ricochet.
And, well, I have to say I matched Heather on this one. My number 1 went with Kevin Owens. So, that was definitely an interesting top 10. I think we all had pretty much quite a few of the same there, so... But that's good.
Yeah.
And for those of you listening, if you have a top 10, please feel free to send it to us on Twitter or even to our Facebook group or even to our main page on the fansofprowrestling.com. And we're going to take one more small break and we're going to get right to our credits. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Wrestling Fans Insight. I appreciate Carlos and Heather joining me every week. Again, want to shout out my brother who is not feeling the greatest, and we hope he gets well soon and is able to join us when he can. So, with that being said, do you two have anything else to add to this week?
I don't have anything. I'm glad you keep letting me be on here, and I keep having a good time. I'm sorry that I'm not up to par this week, but I did the best I could.
You're apologizing way too much. You do a great job each and every week here, Heather, and we appreciate you being on the team. Carlos, do you have anything else to add?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to another great week of wrestling. Again, we have two live event, pay-per-view event, premium live event next Saturday. So it's going to be a fun week of wrestling. I'm looking forward to the next week and talking about it next week.
Yeah, it will definitely have a jam-packed show next Sunday.
Yep.
And like I said, if I can manage to finagle it, we'll try to get a pre-show for Ring of Honor Final Battle and NXT's Deadline. So, yeah, it will be a interesting predictions night right there. So, with that being said, we're just going to cut right to it. Thank you to Lipson.com for being our host on the podcast. We wouldn't be able to hit every platform without them. Pixabay.com for providing us the royalty-free music we used for the intro, the exit, and our commercial breaks. Also want to say you can reach us on Facebook. You go to the groups, the Fans of Pro Wrestling, and we've also created a Facebook page for the podcast separately. You just gotta go find the business page, the Wrestling Fans Insight. And we also just registered our own brand domain for the podcast. You go to www.wrestlingfansinsight.com, and it takes you right to our podcast page, and you can access all our new episode, well, every episode we have published. And you can reach us anytime on our interactive voicemail. It's area code 385-367-4772. Last but not least, all of us are on Twitter. Heather, you want to give your Twitter alias?
It's BamaGirl _4 _EVA. BamaGirl forever.
You forgot your line.
I know. Come on, start your tagline.
Roll Tide, bitches.
There you go. There you go. Atta girl. All right, Carlos, let's get yours.
So at C to the LOS, my nonprofit is at Conquer the No.
Say your aliases again. You kind of cut out on us.
So my personal one is at C to the LOS 77, and then my nonprofit is at Conquer the No.
Awesome. And I want to give a shout out to my brother's account at William HOPPE, the number 8 at William Hoppy 8. And please, for heaven's sake, cut the kid some slack. He's new to Twitter. If you followed him, give him time to follow back. He's new. Remember what it's like to be new on any kind of new social media app, so be patient, damn it. And you can also reach us on our podcast account on Twitter at WF Insight Podcast. And you can reach me personally on my own. It's at John, JOHN, WF Insight. Other than that, you can see us, or not see us, you can listen to us on pretty much every platform, as we mentioned before. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Boomplay, Deezer, Ghana. We're also hitting the big rankings on the Good Pods app. We also have the YouTube channel. Just search for Wrestling Fans Insight. Pretty easy. We're right there. Other than that, we're going to call it good. We're hoping to be back again Friday night, if not for sure at our normal time next Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be covering the results from Ring of Honor Final Battle, as well as NXT Deadline and the other programming. For Heather, Carlos, and myself, have a great week. We'll catch you next Sunday.